Responsibility today, Christy, and we're live. Yay! Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Enlightened Health and Healing. And we decided to come in on the fly today just to have a quick show before Thanksgiving as we kick off this amazing time of year on the cusp of some what could be for some people challenging last couple of years between COVID and all of the unrest throughout the world. So we wanted to bring you today's show just to talk about gratitude and appreciation and being thankful and honoring yourself and a couple of other things being here today. So, hi Christy.
Hi, Jen.
Yeah.
Beautiful introduction.
Thanks. Happy Wednesday. Happy day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
We host and we invite all of our family, most of our family, and whoever can come, great, and whoever can't, that's totally understandable. This year it'll be a rather intimate, small gathering. It'll be me, Bo, Joel, and my mom and one of my nephews. And hopefully my brother will be able to make it, but he's still up in the air. How about you?
We are going to my in-laws on tomorrow, and it's just my sister-in-law that'll be there besides my husband's parents. And then Friday, my parents are coming by us. So pretty simple.
Fun. Yeah. What is your favorite part, Christy, of the holidays?
Just being with people that we care about. And I like the certain traditions. Like I really enjoy certain things that we do every year. Like sometime in the next week, we're going to put our tree up. And I get very particular about making sure that we have I have a system for putting the tree up. Christmas music. I know you're laughing. And that's fine. We play Christmas music and all the boys get together and we put the ornaments on the tree. And it's the most heartwarming thing that happens for me around this time of year is then because every year we bring out the box of ornaments and there's always just some nostalgia with oh, look at this ornament when you were a baby. And it always warms my heart and I love it.
Yeah, same. I like the nostalgia of just, for me, it's mostly the community. It's just getting everyone together, being in the same energy with one another and just talking and laughing and catching up. And you raised a really good point, and it's a great lead in to one of the points that I wanted to mention today, and that is minding your stress on the holidays. Because I think that it sounds like both of us, this is kind of a more relaxed, enjoyable, appreciative type of year. I think that I know that for the holidays, especially being around family and certain stressors can cause stress for people this time of year.
Yeah.
And so let's start with that. Let's start with the stress of the holidays. How do you recommend? I'm going to back it out. So first, let's just talk in brief what stress can do to our bodies and minds. And second, how we can dive into gratitude and appreciation as opposed to staying in that stress.
Yeah. Well, I know as we've talked about many times before, stress will do quite a bit of things to our bodies. And I will keep this soapbox really short, but I do have to say it quickly is the point that I make frequently is that this is now flu season, right? Flu season is this season not because the bugs are more likely to be around. We're just more susceptible because of certain foods around the holidays, more sugar, less sunlight, more cold, and a lot more stress. And those kinds of things just weaken our bodies and leave us more vulnerable to picking up stuff that we would not have necessarily picked up in June or July when things were a little bit more calm. So just from that standpoint alone, I always want to mention the importance of keeping stress and all things that are within our control as balanced as possible so that, the things that are outside of our control don't hurt us as badly.
Yeah. And a great way to do that is to appreciate everything along the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you, I'm writing a blog right now that I'm expecting to post, if not today, some point on Friday. And it speaks to the stress as it relates to food. And knowing this time of year, we tend to overindulge, right? Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. And even in the indulging in a nice meal, you guys, as whatever it sounds like to you, even that appreciation of your food and that appreciation of just enjoying the food can actually allow your body to better assimilate the food and naturally allow your digestion to not impact you as much. And I think that there's simple steps like that that can cause us to then feel better through the holidays as opposed to the lethargic, gross feeling that we can feel if we have stress coupled with the overindulging altogether.
Yes, 100% agreed. And to add to the point, especially with regard to the food piece, really just being mindful and being present with your food instead of kind of mindlessly snacking. I've totally been a victim of that, or I can't say I'm not victim. I can't think of the right word. I've totally done that. Been guilty of that. When there's chocolate and I want some, I'll just have a little bit of chocolate on the side and then run back to everybody else, and that energy doesn't sit as well in your body when you're just kind of mindlessly throwing things in, as opposed to just sitting and being present with your food and the people that are surrounding you at the time.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. And I just have to add, from my perspective, you may disagree. Thanksgiving and Christmas are not the time of year to worry about your weight. Like, just not saying go completely off the rails, but don't stress yourself out if you decide to run past the cookie tin and have a piece of fudge or whatever. Again, that comes back to that stress factor that if you're choosing to just allow yourself to have a treat or two or whatever over the holidays and you add stress to it, it's going to it can cause you to gain weight. It can cause you that extra lethargic feeling. Whereas if you just enjoy it, it could have less impact on your body.
I do
Yeah.
actually agree. And it's just a little humorous because earlier today, our staff at the front desk, I was checking someone out and she was talking with the other patient at the front desk and said something. So eat whatever you want tomorrow. And I was like, is that what you're telling everybody as they're leaving the office? And she says, yeah, is that a problem? And I was like, well, we could still be mindful and, make sure that we're still treating our bodies with love and kindness while still not getting too bogged down with details over the holidays.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm giving people dietary suggestions this time of year, I'm like, I get it. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. Kind of do what you want tomorrow. And at the same time, you don't have to like blow it completely and make yourself feel like crap, because that's not going to be healthy either. Just be in the moment, whatever is calling you. Because I know I used to be in a place where I wouldn't know when I was going to be able to have something or allow myself to have it ever again. And I would binge, and
Mm,
that wasn't healthy. And so I will eat whatever I want and be done with it, as opposed to feeling like I have to keep shoveling it in.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, enough about the food
I know.
conversation. Let's talk again about gratitude and joy. I mentioned earlier to the point of we all have people around us, right? And with family, we can't always choose who we're in presence with. And I know, and I don't know about you, Christy, but I know I, for one, have overheard, and many of the people that I'm close with have made comments about how they struggle with certain people that they're going to be around the holidays. And that can add to that stress, especially if someone's already in a delicate place. Um, what do you recommend from your perspective as people dance in the realm of, okay, I know that I'm going to this place. I know that there's a couple people there that really spark or trigger me. What do you recommend for our listeners?
First and foremost, I think you already stated it, is that just that first step of being aware of it, you can then have a little bit of mindfulness over your own system and setting some boundaries mentally and energetically speaking, like just kind of like surrounding yourself in light and not allowing yourself to fall into the trap of getting too overly engaged and too overly triggered just by the simple act of being aware of it when you interact with those individuals. Because sometimes we can't just not interact with somebody, but going in with a certain set of expectations and minding your energy in the interactions, I think, can go a long way.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, I just would feel like also, to the gratitude point, of focus on the other things that are not that you're grateful for, as opposed to focusing on the things that are going to trigger you about this person or trigger you about the situation. And I would assume that based on what we're going to focus on, we're going to draw more of that to ourselves too.
Yeah. That, Christy, you said it perfectly. And that's where I immediately go is for me, when I know I'm going to be present to someone who our energies don't match. That's all. It doesn't make me more right or them more right. It just means our energies clash. And certain energies are just not meant to be in space together. And for families, we can't always choose that. And for me, what I look at with that is just how can I appreciate this person for who they are? And really flipping the script to say, they might be not be my taste. This might not be my kind of person. I would maybe disagree with some of the things they say or do. But how can I, just for this day, just for sake of keeping the family connected, keeping myself balanced, how can I just set that aside and appreciate something about that person? And I can tell you inevitably for me, when I flip it that way, and when I have throughout the years, it brings me just a different level of calm. And those seeming triggers that may have sparked are far less and far more in between. And also I really, and some people may not agree with this theory, but I also definitely agree with the energy that we give out really impacts other people. And if we're giving out an energy of being sparked by someone or causing whatever kind of thoughts towards another person, I really believe that they feel that. And then emotions and even actions heighten even further.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that 100%. You know that. The other thing I was just thinking as you were talking is, for me at least, sometimes it's letting go
Mm,
of past expectations and past hurts and past situations that might be clouding my now present moment with this individual, because for all we know, they could be a little bit different now.
yeah.
And who are we to go into a situation prejudging what that interaction is going to look like?
Yep. Hands down, 100% agree. The past doesn't necessarily denote who someone is now or who
Yeah.
they are in the future.
And I know it's not always easy to do that, but I try sometimes to, okay, let's just be here today and let go of whatever baggage there may have been before.
Yeah, agreed. The other thing is, and you alluded to it earlier, is creating boundaries when you're going to be in presence with that person.
Yeah.
Creating space to say, okay, I know they're going to be there, but that doesn't mean that I have to engage with them. It doesn't mean that I have to spend a lot of time with them. I can make sure that I'm distancing myself or deciding what kind of conversation you choose to engage in. And I also think, as I'm saying this, is just the awareness of, if you know this person, you know how they talk, you know how they approach you, you know what triggers you, being aware of it to just know, okay, when they do this, here's how it sparks me. So when that happens, here's what I'm going to do about it. And having a plan going in
Yeah.
can also help prevent that emotional heightenedness.
I like that. That's a really good point too. Just having that plan. I didn't think about that, but if and when that comes up, okay,
Right.
find someone else to have a conversation with, or
Mhm.
politely excuse yourself or something.
Yeah. And I know it's said often, or at least I've heard it said often, I've certainly said it often, is remembering if you feel hurt by this person, that sometimes hurt people. And it could have nothing to do with what you have going on. It could have everything to do with what they have going on. And just keeping that in mind to say, I don't know how or what this person has going on in their life. Again, it comes down to that appreciation for that other person
Mm-hmm.
and that gratitude for that one's not gratitude, but it's more so that empathy of knowing like this is another human and they're humans like we are. And as far as we know, they could have triggers completely opposite or different or the same as us.
Right.
And maybe, just maybe, some of those things that trigger us could actually be their own self esteem or lack of. It could be their own insecurities that are coming out inadvertently in the form of something else that triggers you.
Yeah, absolutely. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Okay, so anything else on the front of managing emotions, stress, or anything along those realms as we dance in the realm of Thanksgiving and holidays and staying in gratitude?
Not sure. I'm sure there's more. I'm like, there's got to be more here.
Awesome. Well, we knew it was going to be short. We just wanted to hop on for a couple minutes and just talk a little bit about gratitude. I, for one,
Awesome. Well, we knew it was going to be short. We just wanted to hop on for a couple.
oh, was are we back, Christy?
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
No worries. I, for one, want to say what I'm grateful for this year. And I think that talking about what we're grateful for is good. And man, I look back to the last year, Christy, and what growth. Just the and I would have told you for years now, every year at the end of the year, like, gosh, I've grown so much. And this year has been even more explosive in the amount of gratitude I have just for not only all the mentors and teachers and people that have been put in front of me that I've learned from and gained knowledge from and had the opportunity to be in space with, but just all the awakening that I've had about my own skills and knowledge and gifts that admittedly at times through the years that I looked at seemingly as negative, that actually I'm now recognizing are some of my best traits. And that for me is brings so much gratitude because it just aligns so many different things in life. How about you? That's one. What's one for you?
Oh, so much.
Hmm.
I'm constantly humbled, looking in the same way that you just described, looking to where I was at this time last year, or even this time 6 months ago, and then if I take it back even more, a couple years, it's astounding the level of growth and the experiences that I've had that have just like in divine intervention, like come in one after another to lead me to where I am. And it's like, I can't help but just get excited and smile and feel so much warmth in my heart and soul and gratitude for all of it. As I really just, I feel like life is going to take us exactly where it's kind of meant to take us. And it always ends up teaching us some beautiful lessons along the way if we're looking
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah, I'm so in agreement with that statement.
I mean, because don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things that if we choose to focus on, there's a lot of stuff that we could be focusing on that's not so great.
Yep.
And I don't like listening to those things. I'm not a news watcher. I don't want to look. I don't want to listen to stuff that's gonna not fill my soul in a positive way for the most part.
Yeah.
And when I sometimes find myself falling into those traps, it's we have to be sometimes quick to turn it around and focus on different things so that we keep our energy in the right place.
Yeah, 100% agree with that statement. And of course, always grateful for people and just basic necessities and just the ability to move forward day over day.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, being in places like this right now with you and being able to do things like this to bring conversations forward to other people in life.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm of course grateful for all the people in my life, my loving little boys, my husband, and I'm great. I also find a lot of gratitude to do what I really, really love for my career.
Mm.
It brings me a lot of joy, and I was reminded about that today. Just working with patients, it lights me up.
Yeah. I will second that statement. To do what we love every day.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right. So practicing gratitude. I want to anything else practicing gratitude you want to mention before I go into the last point that I wanted to dance in for a minute?
No, go ahead.
Gratitude is literally good for our health. Gratitude can literally lower cortisol because of stress response. It can, I would assert that gratitude could impact endorphins and the overall chemistry of what's released brain, body, mind. It can impact how we are in our relationships and how we show up to other people, in turn impacting our emotional response, in turn impacting our stress chemistry response. I believe that gratitude and appreciation can impact the things that we choose to do in life and our overall environmental factors, in turn impacting stress and chemistry and hormonal response. So when I look at that little word of gratitude, which I know, especially in the last several years, has been thrown around so much, to just be grateful. And we all know that sometimes just being grateful isn't always easy, right? Because stress and the overall day to day can get in front of us. But Christy, what else? What else did I miss of all the benefits of gratitude, and why our viewers should consider gratitude, appreciation, and thankfulness this time of year?
Well, the first actually thing that I was going to say is about doing it every day, not just this time of year.
Oh, agreed, 100%.
And I'm not always the best at it, but I do have a gratitude jar in our living room. And my ideal goal with it was to have everybody in the house write something down every day and stick it in there. And then at the end of the year, open it up, and around this time of year, then start going through all the things we've written in there every day. That hasn't worked out that way. At the same time, I do sometimes throw it out there, like especially in a moment where one of my kids is having a rough time and I'm unsure about how to help them in that moment of whatever is going on with them. I'll give them a little bit of space and say, why don't you write down something that you're grateful for, and
Nice.
go ahead and put it in the jar. And most of the time they do. Sometimes they give me attitude about it, but most of the time that they do. And it tends to snap them out of that state a little bit quicker.
Yeah. I love that, Christy. And you said it perfectly. It's an all the time. Yeah. And now's a great time to get started if you haven't practiced
Yes.
gratitude. Yes.
Yeah.
Any other points, suggestions, benefits, or otherwise as it relates to our topic today: gratitude, thankfulness, appreciation?
It's going to sound cliche, but to me, it's just, this is the feel good time of year. Like this is the time where I just feel such peace, and I choose to feel that over everyone that I'm around, and the things that I choose to focus on, the things that I choose to do. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of stresses coming up. I'm sure tonight when I'm cooking and trying to get everything together, my brain is going to be going 1,000 miles a minute, and I'm going to be remembering this conversation going, okay, let's calm down and be mindful and do all these things. And just taking time for some of these moments, I think, can just be really impactful.
Yeah. I agree with the heart of all of what you said. And there may be people watching, you may be the one listening, who feels like this is the most stressful, hardest time of the year for you. And we understand that and we get that. And my ask of anyone watching who's having a hard time of year, who this time of year is one of the hardest, just breathe. You know, if you need a connection, if you need just a heart to lean on throughout the next few days, or even throughout the end of the year, message either one of us, get in contact with community and connect with other people who can help keep the light bright as you're going through whatever it is that you're going through this time of year. And as always, if you're ever struggling to the point that you're questioning if you can keep going, reach out to the hotline, as always, because I promise you, I've commit to you that there's always a brighter side. You might just not be able to see it right now. So with that, Christy, did I miss anything?
I don't think so. Beautifully said, and wholeheartedly
Thanks.
agree.
Thank you. All right, you guys, we appreciate you. Thank you for everyone who is watching now and everyone who is joining us later. Happy Thanksgiving to another great year. And we're looking forward to seeing you back here next week, 10 o'clock, Friday, normal time, Friday, 10 o'clock next week. We just changed it for the holiday this week. And topic to be determined.
Sounds good. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And hey, if anyone's watching this later on the replay, put some things that you're grateful for in the comments so we can celebrate together. I think that'd be fun.
I love it. I love it. All right, guys, have a good day.
Bye.